Hello, wanted to talk to you a little bit more about how to be better at what you do. Now, we all know that sometimes it's just the smallest things that make the biggest differences, and you've got a lot to think about in selling when you're out there. And we talked about preparation already. Well, preparation can make the difference, as I said before, from good to great. Now, the only thing is, preparation does rely, or part rely, on the notes that you make. And the preparation is better if the notes are better. And I suppose it goes without saying, but I'll say it, that your notes rely on you. So your notes are as good as you make them, in other words. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about note taking because I think it's really important and it goes really well with the last video that I put out. So what I've got first question I guess you've got to ask yourself is, do you make notes? If you don't, each their own, but perhaps you ought to ask yourself why you don't. And if your memory's good, okay, fair enough, I understand if you've got a really good memory. But honestly, is your recollection that good? Because when you need to randomly recollect a particular piece of information, does it always come at the right time every time? Or have you ever had moments when you come out of a meeting and you think, I forgot to ask, or I should have asked this, or maybe if I'd done, something like that. Or have you come away from a meeting and thought, what did they say about again? So I'm not saying your memory's not great. What I'm saying is, fact is, you can't always recollect something on the spur of the moment as you want it, when you want it, all the time. And that's why notes really help. It's about jogging your memory, jogging your memory of what you do know, helping you to, utilize what you know at the right time in the right way, according to the plan that you've put together. So, taking notes, right? Let's just have a think about how you take notes. The next thing, I suppose, is not just taking notes. It's also about what are you writing down when you take notes in a meeting. Are you writing down the relevant information that you need, or are you writing down what you've done? Do you write your notes whilst you're with the customer, or do you write your notes afterwards? So again, you've really got to ask yourself, how important are these notes to you? When should you be making them? Should you be making them afterwards? What's the chances you come out of your meeting and you've got phone calls, missed calls, somebody catches you, you need to drive to your next meeting, a number of things that you've got to remember. What's the chances that you might miss some of that information that you heard in there? Again, you might have a great memory, but it's not about the storage in your brain. It's more about how easily you can recollect the information that's stored in your brain and how well it comes out at the right time. So again, notes are really useful. Now, in my mind, I think notes should be made in front of the customer. And I've had numerous objections. The main objections being, well, I can't focus when I'm making notes in front of the customer. Actually, I'd have to argue that you actually take more on board when you're taking notes than when you don't. It's easier to drift if only one of your senses is working on listening. If the more of your senses that are working on listening to what's being said, the more likelihood it will go in, and that's fact as well. Now, then you've got to think about, well, the customer doesn't like. That's another objection is, the customer doesn't like it when I make notes. Well, how do you know? And if they don't, well, what's the easiest thing you can say to eliminate the objection before you do start making notes? It's quite simple, isn't it? All you can say is, look, I'm going to have to take some notes just to make sure that I get the information correct that you're telling me. I'd be quite happy if somebody decided they wanted to take notes, because I think that they feel it's important, or what I'm saying is important. Some people say they can't keep up and they get lost in trying to write it down, especially if you're not writing and you're using a tablet. If you're using one of these, then you may not be you may not be great at typing. I'm not great at typing, so sometimes, and also this thing does tend to want to write what it wants on occasion rather than what I'm trying to get it to write. So sometimes you do kind of get a little bit behind on the conversation, but that's okay. Before it gets too far, you stop them, ask them, sorry, that was really important. Can you just repeat that so I can get it down correctly? I don't want to miss the information that's important here. Personally, I'd respect you if you said that to me, and I'm sure most of your customers would. I can't think of anybody that I've come across that's ever said to me, hang on, don't look down, look at me, or excuse me, what are you doing? So here's another objection. Well, they just don't like it because it forms a barrier. Well, then don't make it secretive. Don't make it like you're in an exam hiding your notes from somebody. Let them see them. Keep the pad open in front of you, flat on the table, so it's visible. Same with these. Now, these are really important because sometimes they have these options of having them sort of up on a desk like that. Well, if it's like that in front of you, that's what they see. If you're laying that down like that in front of you, that's what they see. They can't see the screen. So maybe you should lay it flat so they can see what you're writing, in which case it shouldn't be an issue. And as I said, if you've said to them in the outset, I'm going to make notes, I hope you don't mind, but I just don't want to miss any important information, then I'm sure they'll be fine about it. If they can see it, it's open. You've asked their permission, or you've let them know that you're going to take notes. You also make sure that you're getting down the important information. So, oh, hang on, Mr. Customer, can I just make sure I got that down right? It's another opportunity to check what you've heard. Great way of listening and keeping your focus. And more importantly, you're writing things down that they're telling you. If you're taking notes, make sure that your new notes are new knowledge notes. That your notes are not just notes for the sake of notes. There's a lot of notes in there. But only note new knowledge. That's really important. New knowledge meaning something that you've learned new about the customer, something you've observed in the customer's premises that you think might be important. Now, every time you write down your notes, always be thinking, what am I learning that's going to help me next time? Because you may not get everything on this occasion, but you can certainly get down information for your next visit, which might be really, really useful. So that's just a little tip on notes. Hopefully that will help you. I personally think that makes a big difference for a good salesperson to be great rather than just good. So if you don't already make notes, ask yourself why and maybe try it. Good luck.